with the Doctor Who guide with us today.
Hello, thanks for having me.
Awesome. So obviously we were originally meant to have Rob, obviously Arsenal 99, but unfortunately due to some tech and everything, he won't be able to join. But obviously next time we're going to have him on and we're going to get that done. So,
Ah,
so doing that today, we've got a lot of great things to talk about. So first things first, how are you?
I'm doing well, doing well. It's
Yeah.
it's not every day you get to be Rob's you know, understudy, but glad to be here.
Well, it was meant to be both of you there going forward.
This is true. This is
Yeah,
true.
it's a shame Rob can't join, but next time he's going to be on, and we're going to try and get that done. Just a few issues with audio, which is a bit of a pain. So we've got a lot
Mm,
of great things we are talking about today.
yeah.
So with that, um, we do have obviously we're going to talk about some of the B&M sets. We're going to talk about some big finish releases in March. Obviously, are you well versed in big finish in March? Obviously, some other new releases.
I know, yeah, I've been keeping my eye on some of the latest releases. I've of course had to listen to the end of the beginning, which is
Yeah.
very exciting, and then I've just sort of been keeping my eye on the other releases. We got a lot of them recently too.
I've had tons, a lot of big finish news. Obviously, that's either going with the releases of the main range or as well as yeah, there's so much. We're going to go into that. Also, we're going to have a bit of a chat. It's a bit more serious one regarding limited edition merch and why it needs to be stopped. Well, we need more freedom for merchandise for fans. But we're going to go into that near the time. And also a really fun game of episode generator, which is going to be really cool.
Hey.
So that's one of my favorite segments of this. I love the episode generator game. And a multi-doctor episode chat. Obviously, I watched the video Ringley. Thank you for the inspiration for that. And obviously, he mentioned the TV stuff, but I thought not many people mention the audios of the comics or some of the books. And I think it's worth mentioning the other
Yeah.
stories that a lot of people think about.
There's lots of weird and crazy stuff that happens in the comics and books and audios, so it's
Oh,
a
God,
shame not
yeah.
to talk about it.
To me, 50th anniversary had at least three or a couple of multi-doctors, massive segments. 2013 was such a big year for Doctor Who,
Right.
especially for a lot of the classic stuff, not just New Who.
You got Destiny of the Doctors, you had The Light at the End, as well as the 50th anniversary.
Prisoners of Time, but comic book out was like another 50th anniversary in itself. But I
hmm
said I picked it up and read it, but we're going to go into that. So, have you read Prisoners of Time for yourself? Do you know much about it?
I have the first issue as a comic, and I'm sort of familiar with it, but I have not read it straight through yet.
Okay, so you don't know the spoiler. Is a spoiler? Do you want me to mention a spoiler later on or not? Because it's kind of a big.
Spo- Spoil it. It's my job to look into these Doctor Who spoilers, and I'll probably have forgotten it by the time I get around to reading it. So please go ahead
Yeah.
with spoilers. Yeah, please do. I'm excited actually.
So, all right. So let's obviously going forward start with limited edition merch because obviously me and you had a bit of a chat a while ago, and I've had a chat with Arsenal 99. A few people regarding merchandise on Doctor Who. Now, if you look back at the days of Doctor Who, obviously, I don't know if you're at a Toys R Us or like a local toy store that had a lot of Doctor Who merchandise. You'd walk in and you'd see so much merchandise sitting on the shelves, and you could wait a month and you could walk in and buy the same thing because the stock is there.
Hmm.
Now, it's the complete opposite in 2021. As a fellow collector, I feel like Doctor Who merch is so incredibly annoying and hard to get. Like, what do you think?
Absolutely. It feels like everything is limited edition these days, and to me, it's frustrating because it a means that a certain number of people are going to miss out. They'll make a limited run of sometimes only a couple hundred items, sometimes 1,000 or 2,000, but it guarantees to me that people, not everybody, can have this piece of merchandise. um, and obviously I think people buying up multiple copies and selling them on eBay is kind of the really the biggest issue here. And I really think that stores, both online and in person,
Yeah.
need to put a limit onto how many copies people can buy. Now, what I saw on the Big Finish website today, because obviously we're with the Time Lord Victorious Echoes of Extinction vinyl, is that they don't have a way on the website to limit the amount of copies somebody can order, but if somebody did order multiple copies, they would cancel those extra orders. And refund them. So it's that may mean that some stock may come back, or it just meant that the stock lasted longer. But that was, you were saying that went out so quickly.
So it was literally an hour ago. I said, "Well, the vinyl's back, guys. We got it. Pre-order now." And it went within less than an hour. Obviously, Rob messaged me saying it's gone already. So I read upon that and it just disappeared. And I think that's completely ridiculous. I made a comment. Big Finish did, comment on, which is really good. But I just think that's one of the most annoying things. And I think it's nothing as Big Finish's storytelling. The storytelling's not the issue with Big Finish at the moment. What the issue is the limited time to get
Yeah,
physical media or the limited edition releases. We've got a year
yeah.
to buy main range, diver song, all these spin-offs, early adventures. We've got a year to get all of this. Now, unless you've got money, how are you going to do it?
Right, right. And for me, I've always wanted Doctor Who to be more accessible. That's why I didn't moan when I saw that the Blu-ray releases were coming out, because I knew that, yeah, my DVD collection will plummet in value, but that's fine, because getting Doctor Who out there to me just makes me so happy when more people get into it. And asking people to collect 160 DVDs is quite ridiculous. So
I
getting
mean,
more
Region
Doctor Who,
1,
Region 1 especially.
yeah, it's horrible. It's so rare to buy, especially. I remember when you after the Web Planet at one point, and then
Right.
John sent it you, and then
Yeah.
like such amazing, obviously kindness, such a rare DVD just to send it you.
Right.
It was so much money.
Like literally Genesis and the Web Planet and around 50 to 60 DVDs were all $50 to $70 each. And that's
Yeah,
now the price of an entire Blu-ray season. So I'm very excited whenever we get more accessibility for Doctor Who. But with the limited editions, because here's how I operate collecting Doctor Who in a budget: you don't necessarily keep up with the latest stuff, but you wait until it goes on sale, or you find a secondhand seller who's selling it in a price
yeah.
that you can buy, or you wait until you have money, right? But with limited editions, they force you to pay full price up front, which means they can, and because it's limited, they can ask for incredibly high prices. So
Let's be honest,
you
you
either
can't do
have
that
the
now.
money or you don't,
You
you
can't
know?
do that. You can't just wait a week or month before something goes down in price. Let's just look at the season 8 Steelbook that was announced. That was announced. That went on live. Yeah, went immediately. You
Yeah.
can't just wait anymore. All these things are going out. And this is what gets to me. If you do not have the money to pay for it, you are not going to get it at all.
Hmm.
So I get the collection, I get the steelbooks, very, very rare things to come by, but these need to be
Right.
more available to fans. You can't more stock, more fans, they're making more money. And when they
Right.
happen, they're gonna still be there, but more people are gonna experience these steelbooks.
It makes no sense to me, because if you like, I can understand for like a Kickstarter, or you're a local business and you're doing a limited run because you just can't be bothered or they're a lot of work. Maybe you're not selling them at like what would be a great hourly wage, but you're just doing this for your community or whatever. I
Yeah,
understand that sort of a thing. But as a business model, theoretically they wouldn't make these collection box sets if they were losing money, right, on
no,
each
of
one of
course
them to
wouldn't.
produce them. So why limit it? It just makes no sense. Like, I get, at initially they were testing out the Blu-ray range. They wanted to see if people would move away from their DVD collections, but now we know that people love these, and that you
Yeah.
could like double the limited stock and people would still buy them. And I really think, if you are going to have a limited edition, also make a standard edition or a download version available. That's what I think is missing in
Obviously,
the UK. Because,
you have the American releases. So obviously
right,
they're region three. You can get these watches anywhere, and that's a great thing, but let's just be honest here. You want the limited edition release. Now, I'm not saying it should be thousands and thousands of stock available, but at least give it the limited edition release fans to a lot of people. Give it
right,
availability to a lot of countries.
right. And you could either, I think you should expand the stock available, but also limit the amount that per IP address somebody can buy, so that somebody who's trying to sell these secondhand on eBay can't make multiple accounts and order one or two, two each.
Yeah,
But right now, you can just check out with like 10 or 20 in your cart and sell them for double, triple the cost. Like,
and people will pay them.
and people will
People,
pay them. The collection season 8 box set is absolutely going for $100, if not more, right now on eBay, and it's insane. It's insane. Like it's absolutely disheartening because if you're trying to
that's,
get that, and also the limited edition versions, right? They come out months before the US standard versions, right? So
yeah.
it's not only that people are wanting that beautiful artwork, that beautiful set, they're also wanting to see these new bonus features and the new quality and the new effects and the new commentaries maybe a couple months earlier than having to wait until three months. I mean, the US is literally a release behind
There's
most of the time.
there's people say, well, I don't see point in Blu-ray releases because they can't get their hands on them. Because every time they try to buy one, they're going for so much money. And you're just thinking you get an episode, but you're getting so much more. I know on the
Right,
season 8 release, there's an amazing Terrence Dicks documentary where obviously they go into his family, they go into his writing, you get people admiring his work, and it's just such a beautiful love letter. And a whole box set is a love letter to that era and the writers
right,
of the era. And it's just such an amazing thing for
right.
a Who fan to have. But because of scalpers buying for more than one, you can't do that. And that goes for the
Yeah,
same with season eights. They're, Series 8 Steelbooks or Steelbooks in general, they're amazing thing to have, but you just can't buy them easy. I missed out.
yeah,
I had no money in my bank at the time or to spend on the Steelbook on Zari to get it sent here. So I've got to pre-order on Amazon, get it sent to the UK, and then get it from the UK sent to Holland. So I've got to pay
right.
extra shipping just because they've made such small stock.
Right. I was really annoyed because I missed out on the Series 8 Steelbook as well, and it was because I was recording a news video about it. And you can see in the video that I recorded that the listing is up there. It's available. And I thought, oh, okay, I need to get this news video out, and so I missed out on it
Yeah,
completely. One thing to note with limited editions is that I know on Amazon this is the case. I don't know what it's like with Big Finish, but if you pre-order, say, a steelbook or a collection box set, they won't charge your bank account until
it's
they
sent out.
dispatch they
Yeah,
dispatch the order. So some people I've seen comment and say like, "Oh, I'm gonna wait until I've saved up enough money for this." Like, say they get paid next week, right? You can still pre-order it like before
yeah,
it goes out of stock, and as long as you will actually have the money by then and can afford it, then that's
precisely.
a way to reserve it.
That's what I do. So obviously, there's a few vinyls I've got because of that system. It makes it a lot easier. But
Right.
Amazon don't ship to the Netherlands, so when I'm
uh,
I'm lucky I've got family in the UK
right,
because I
right.
can ship it to them.
I wish I had family in the UK because
So I can
all
just
these
send to them. They ship to
vinyls
me.
all these um you know uh the B&M sets, like they've just now started putting the B&M sets up on Amazon, and I'm so excited because I never got that experience, and I still haven't because you ordered on Amazon. But so many people I see vlogs, and there's running around to various B&M stores to find the
Oh
sets
yeah, they're
on the
great.
shelves.
I
It
absolutely
seems
love them.
like it seems like a bit of a hassle, but also great fun, especially if you can do it with others. But yeah, I'm just so glad that it was up on Amazon now, the B&M sets.
I love being in because what I've done is from the first Perfect Hardest release set from the Time Monster thing. Yeah, what they did was when they said, "Oh, these people want these sets. We're going to give them more stock. We're going to make more figures, and more people have been able to get them a month
Right.
after." Now I've got 7 Imperial Daleks, and everyone's still got what they want because everybody has what they need, and there's not limited stock, so nobody's missing out, and it's given people a fair time to get the stock. And that's why B&M works. But with Big Finish, with the steelbooks, and with the collections, they're small stock. A lot of people want them. The BBC damn right know people want them, but they're still doing a small stock. And Big Finish are saying you've got a year to buy all the stock, guys. A year to buy all the things you want, all it's out of production.
Yeah.
What do you do there?
I honestly don't know what you're expecting, what you're expected to do. It's so frustrating because, we all have, I don't have a ton of money, and it's that thing of saying, basically saying, this is only for the select fans who have the budget available to get all of these releases.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. Yeah,
uh,
get go.
I even with the B&M sets on Amazon now, I waited until Christmas time, I think it was. Well, my birthday and for Christmas, but there was a sale on Amazon for like, I don't know, I think I got them half off or something like that. It was a really good sale. And, I bought a bunch of B&M sets, and
Yeah.
that was basically all I got for my birthday was a bunch of no, for Christmas was a bunch of B&M sets. And it's lovely, but again, you wait until the sales come along to shop.
I'm very lucky. So I've got a private collector online, and he lives in Glasgow, and he basically bulk buys all these sets, not for himself but for fans, and he sells them. He doesn't go massive
Mm,
prices, £2 over, like just get a bit of profit. You'd understand, going to get a bit of profit, but you buy them, and you can still get the sets you want. And that's why how I've kept up with all these B&M sets, and that's why I'm very lucky for this. But some people just don't have that option.
that's
So
great.
obviously we got the K1 fan. He said hello. Hello there.
Hello.
Hi, thanks for viewing today. So I think the moral of the story is with this. Well, I'm making a petition. Obviously, me and Rob are. Alex is making a video. I'm going to make a video when that petition's up, and we basically want Doctor Who merch from Morris Board fans. We want a collection to Morris Board. We don't want it as
Hmm.
limited as it is. We get it; it's a big thing, but what's the point of making something so beautiful and only a handful of people are going to be able to experience that because
Right,
they're charging over £300 for a set? What is the
right.
point of that?
And for the standard releases for the Blu-rays that we get in the US, like at least include the different disc art. It's so beautiful, and it really doesn't cost that much more. It's just a matter of sending the right files to the right person. Um,
Absolutely.
and even including the booklet. You could maybe fit the booklet in as well. And it's like it's unnecessarily simple, I think. And
Of
you
course.
know,
I mean,
because the artwork is a big part of it. The beautiful artwork that Lee Binding does is a real motivation for
oh yeah.
getting the limited editions.
Big Rooms are season 20 is the next one. And there's a lot of evidence special features has been filmed. So that's a big that's a
Yep.
big boomer.
We've
Fingers
been saying
crossed.
that for so long. Fingers crossed it has to come along, right?
Oh, I think it's next. I mean, some of the Lee Biden on his Instagram page was saying season 20 were next one. He would basically put like a little meme saying, I don't know. Who knows? Not me.
He's so
um,
good at keeping the spoilers under wraps.
oh, he is. His artwork's amazing now. I think even for the sets, even though the Series 3 Steelbook, somebody literally copied his artwork for what the release because they got someone else new to do it. But we just used his artwork ideas. Literally.
Wow. Wow.
That's why I never got the Series 3 Steelbook. It never interested me. Now I want it because I need it. Because I've got the rest, but not that
The
one.
gap. You've got that little gap.
I've got that little gap and I need it. And it's not a rare one, but I'm not paying £70 for it.
Oh gosh, goodness. This the series 9 that's going to be the hardest.
Series
That
9 is going to be re-released. I think it will be.
I
But I'm
think
going to
so too.
pre-order it at Amazon. If I got money in my account, Zari, get it on Zari.
Yeah.
If I got it, and when I see it, pre-order at Amazon, sort is mine. Series 10, I don't need to bother with. I've already got it. I don't need Series 10.
Hmm.
So what I
Hmm.
can, so that's one steelbook I can miss out on because I've already got it. But Series 11 and 12, I don't know what I'm going to do personally.
There's some great. Have you seen some of the latest German releases?
Yeah, I
Speaking
went
of
to meet him.
limited, did you see the limited Enemy of the World?
Yes,
So beautiful. But
the
like, I mean,
war
there's like
games.
there's oh, that one's a good one too. But there's for the Enemy of the World, there's like 333 only. Like
Right.
that's
I'm
super limited.
I'm going to be a quick second. Someone's at the door, and if you want to be fans, I'll be a quick second, guys.
Absolutely.
See you soon.
If you haven't seen the German releases, they're absolutely beautiful. And what's lovely about, I think the Enemy of the World one comes with like a little handkerchief. It's got, some of them come with maps. I think the War Games comes with a map that you see in the episode, and they're just absolutely beautiful uh, ones. And they're not necessarily all limited either. They've got their normal DVD and Blu-ray releases are beautiful. They have media book releases. And that man, just check out some of the artwork of the German releases. It's really, really cool. Of course, we have some limited releases for this month from Big Finish.
Hey guys.
Hey, you're back.
Hey, so my partner came back from work. Yeah, so as I was saying about the series, I think series 10, 11, and 12, they've already been released. I'm hoping series 11's re-released with some better artwork.
That would be nice. I don't know how far they'll go with the re-releases. I don't think you can top the current Series 12 artwork, but I think Series 11, you could get something that at least matches more the other styles.
I love series 10. The Steelbook series 10 it's beautiful.
That's beautiful, yeah.
I love it to bits. So let's move on, guys. Obviously, we're going to give you updates regarding the petition when it's out. Alex is going to make a video just to raise sort of awareness. And I think the more attention we have to merchandise being more available to fans around the world, so more stock, people really getting
Right.
these in their hands to see how good they are, that's when, change can really be done.
And more sites with international shipping.
Yes, that's always a big one. So here's a really fun segment. Obviously, we went to do it with Rob and Chloe. But unfortunately, obviously, he wasn't able to. So we've got multi-doctor stories. So I got a list of multi-doctor stories here. So you may be thinking, this isn't just the regular TV stories. This is going to be like books. This is going to be Big Finish. It's going to be every wacky multi-doctor story we've experienced. Because believe it or not, there's tons of multi-doctor stories out there.
So many.
In the comics, they've done really random, odd crossovers.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just bizarre, like how many there are. So I think when Rob's on the chat, we're going to do a segment with Rob just to really do his opinion and what he thinks to it, as well as other things, Matt. So starting with you, we're going to start off with a bit of TV. So the TV obvious ones, the Three Doctors. What do you think of the Three Doctors?
Oh, I mean, it's kind of it's the original crossover. It's kind of the iconic start of a lot of not
Yeah,
tropes but traditions that have come up. And obviously it's lovely in that I don't think you ever get a better bickering duo than John Pertwee and Patrick Troughton. And it's just a lovely story, a lot of fun, and man, the character of the villain of Omega as well just
I
absolutely
love it.
kind of steals the show. Um,
It's a story I've seen so many times. It's sort of a constant rewatch story. Me and my partner, Simona, were watching all of the stories, and she just watched it one. She really loved it as well, which is really great. I think that special story, it just Omega, but it's also got the second Doctor back. Hartnell's last performance,
mhm,
but he was
mhm,
amazing in that. It's so touching, and he sort of had that authority in his voice. And I love how they respected him, and I just
yeah.
love like a lot of this story. It's got a lot of 70s mannerisms, Pertwee mannerisms. The gel creatures, what we call gel creatures?
The gel creatures, yep.
Like,
The
blah, blah,
gel
blah, blah,
guards.
blah. Oh god, they're
The
fantastic.
like stop frame, like
Oh
popping
god.
into existence.
Oh my god. Then you've got the antimatter monster. You just got this
Yep.
like oh my god, it's near Bessie. It's fantastic. Um oh, it's fantastic. The Three Doctors is a classic in its own right. So let's move on then.
And
Yeah, go on.
it's unique in that it has all of the previous surviving actors to play the Doctor in that one story, which obviously would never happen again, sadly. But it's
Yeah,
really unique in that regard.
exactly. I think Troughton clearly he looks like he hasn't aged much since he left the show.
Right.
He looks
He's in
amazing.
color. He's in color.
Literally, he's amazing what he does. So moving on to the next TV story, and it's the Five Doctors. Um,
Five Doctors.
so get ready to click the dislike button. I like the Five Doctors, but I don't think it's that great. I'm sorry. It's got a lot of great things. I get what it's doing, but it's basically full of a lot of moments, a lot of little moments full of references. And I love the ideas,
Mhm.
but there's not really a story.
Oh, oof. I don't know if I can refute it on that point. I think it is quite it's a quite a fun story. I think
Oh yeah,
uh, that's his main strength. It does have a lot of cool lore as far as the Tomb of Rassilon and the Death Zone is a really
Yeah.
cool idea, kind of trying to rework the War Games plot. And I think it it does stand on its own, but I think some of the funny moments, like you were talking about those vignettes, is with the hopscotch with the Master and the Cybermen,
It's as
and
easy as pie.
it's as easy as pie. Oh, that's so great! And then,
I like it. I do like it, and it's one of the only on-screen appearances with Perry Cyberman.
yep,
Yeah.
very briefly, and we also get, of course, the Brigadier back, which is lovely.
Oh
Sarah
yeah.
Jane as well.
It's basically one big fan service episode. It's got a lot of great, lovely moments. I love the Brigadier and the Second Doctor together because it's normally
Hmm.
Perry and Brigadier you'd normally get, but
Yeah.
Second and Brig, which I love. But what with being
Hmm.
the invasion, they're just really great together, and I kind of love that connection with them.
Quite interesting too to have Sarah Jane after her travels with the Fourth Doctor having one last adventure with the Third Doctor.
Yeah, I do love that as well. And again, you think I do love little appearances. You got Fraser Hines, you've got Captain Yates,
Hmm.
obviously Richard Franklin there. You've got a few great appearances in it.
Caroline John.
I love where it's set, but it's just a lot of little moments with just little services. Now, here's something I never knew, and as a fan of Yeti stories, I feel like a not a fan of this. I never knew it was for Yeti chasing the Second Doctor movie for years.
Oh,
I
really?
never knew it was a Yeti. I just thought it was a random creature. And wait, that's a Yeti.
Ah, that's great.
And then I was like,
That's so
oh,
great.
that is actually a Yeti. I was very confused by it. Any last thoughts from the Five Doctors?
Oh, uh, the I think I feel bad for the Master. He
Oh god.
totally, it's the one time the Master's trying to help the Doctor. And the Doctor's like, nope, don't believe it.
Oh my god, it literally takes off and drives away. See you later, mate. Oh my
Yeah, I
god.
feel bad. I feel like the Time Lord should have given him his payment for that, like
Oh
they
no, it's
kind of
great.
they kind of cheated him on that.
It kind of puts a Time Lord in a light and a Time Lord in a villainous light as well. There's always a Time Lord against them. It's always a
Yeah,
villainous Time Lord, which I love. Last thing I said, I love the last theme. When the episode ends, you've got the theme, and it's a really great variation of the Hartnell Triton all the way to the end theme, but Peter Howe theme. That's such an amazing theme song.
that is.
I love it. I hear it on Spotify, and like that is a great variation. All right, so moving on to the next TV story, the Two Doctors with another Troughton,
Oh,
third Troughton in a row. Oh, he got busy with his multi stories.
well, the Two Doctors is it's not a story I'll I'll defend as the best multi-doctor story or whatever, but it's one that I get a lot of joy out of. It's just so much fun.
Yeah.
It's so wacky and weird and unexpected, and it's the first time that a multi-doctor story was done not because of an anniversary. And I think that opened up a whole world of just, oh hey, we don't need to wait until it's an even number of years since the
Oh
Doctor
yeah.
Who came on. It really was, a trendsetter, and of course so unique to see Patrick Troughton back on the screen with Fraser Hines. It opens up a world of continuity problems, but we've solved that with season 6B.
Well,
But
what it does is it's great to see Fraser Hines back. It's my favorite companion. So you see him, you can tell he's older. And I personally love that first shot. It's when you see it in black and white, and then they come into color. And then they're
yes,
saying, "Hey, doctor, you seen the size of that thing?" Oh, I absolutely love that. That's one of their most famous lines. I love it. So many great things. I think Colin's great, especially in that season.
yeah,
Um, I think season 22 is one of the most underrated seasons, just because it's just such a unique season. I just personally adore what it is trying to do.
right. Well, and what's lovely is the actors were having such a great time on set. And I think that really translates to their interactions on
Oh, it did.
screen.
Although sometimes are a bit pointless, like the after time travel,
Yep.
and then they get
They're
shot
a,
down and they just die slowly as the episode remains to a death.
for a race of clones, they were a bunch of different heights too.
Oh my god, I know. And then I'll tell you what, did notice. I felt so sorry for the actors because it was boiling hot. I mean, I had to wear the
Oh
massive.
gosh,
That would have been horrible.
that would have been awful. But I do like their design better than the ones in the Invasion of Time.
Yeah, I mean, Store looks like he's got punched in the face a few times by the time, but not gonna lie. He's got the big black eyes, like he's been punched. It's like Strax in the Crimson Horror. I think it's Strax in the name of a doctor. He's having a fight. That was literally him fighting Strax.
Big Finish needs to do like a little short trip explaining why he has black eyes.
Literally, his figure. I really want his figurine. It's a really rare one with Leela, but I've got the Eagles figurine, which I'm happy with.
Oh, nice.
I do want the figurines. I like the design, but it's a weird one. I think personally, you got the I can't even pronounce it. Androgums. Um,
Androgams.
and I think my only complaint is, I get they were trying to keep them away, and then they're going to come together eventually, but there wasn't enough time with Triton and Colin.
Yeah, there wasn't. No, we need more. We needed more Second Doctor and Sixth Doctor crossovers.
And the sad thing is, Triton died a year later, practically.
Mm, that
So
is.
he had a nice holiday before,
Mm,
I think, yeah, overall, it's an enjoyable enough story, but as a story itself, it's very messy. I
yeah.
like it, but yeah, it's what it is.
Gumblejack.
Gumball Jack. And I think they continued to sexualize Parry massively,
Yeah.
especially at the start
Yep.
of the episode.
Absolutely.
I mean, what were they thinking? I swear they were literally just looking for worse websites for Parry's clothing.
Oh goodness. Yeah. The Sixth Doctor, of course, still had to have that big coat too, which was what it must have been hot as well.
Oh, exactly. That would have been so warm. So, moving on from there, then, we are moving on to the best multi story of all time. Now, obviously, this is still a TV era, so on about
Absolutely.
dimensions in time.
Oh boy. Dimensions in Time. I mean,
So,
you want to talk about not having any plot.
all
You
right,
thought the Five Doctors
I've
wasn't
got a
good.
soft spot for this story. I'm sorry, but it was made for charity, and it's
Yes,
a god
yes,
awful story, but it's made to
right.
help people, and it helped people. I mean,
Clearly, and it did. It raised a lot of money, and so many actors came together. And I think that was just the Doctor Who community at its best was, seen
yeah.
there. And of course, 3D.
Oh my god, if I've got it on DVD, so a custom copy DVD and put on disc as special features. Oh my god, you're watching it. It's it's like they didn't have a plan because originally it was meant to be the Dark Dimensions, so it was meant to be Tom Baker, it was meant to be this big story, but they just couldn't make it. So what they
Mm.
did was they continued it. So right, let's make this instead, and they just didn't have a script. Okay, EastEnders, they're right next to us. What if we get a bit of EastEnders action in? Let's do that.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
And
And I
then
love that viewers could like vote on who would save the Doctor the next week. That's just wild.
it is. I mean, it's like DC. I don't know if you follow DC. It's like the death of Robin in the comics.
Yeah. Oh
Vote. Are you
yeah.
going to kill Robin or are you going to keep him alive?
Ah,
The readers were so dark, they said kill him.
right. Right.
Kill
They were
Robin.
like, nope, we're done.
Robin needs to die. I know it's not DC, it's Doctor Who. No,
We could so easily get off track.
but I think personally, Dimensions in Time. I put very opinion. Not that many people agree with. I like how they keep switching companions with each Doctor.
That's absolutely a strength of it, and it does make me wonder who, like, if they could remember who they were before. It's like, was one companion just going through all of these other? The plot is a bit confusing, but it's the main reason that I love Dimensions of Time is that you get to see the Sixth Doctor with the Brigadier on screen.
Yes, that is one
That's the
great
best
thing about
thing.
Dimension Time, the Sixth Doctor and Brigadier. So, Victoria seemed a bit senile in it. I'm not going to lie to you. Like, she had a
Yep.
line, "Who was that woman?" And then she said it like she was so crazy and she had nothing else. Felt a bit sorry
Yep.
for Victoria. She was a bit.
Hmm. Yep. Yep.
She was a bit. I felt bad for her, but it was
Felt bad. Yep.
But apart from that, Pertwee has one of the best lines. Madam, what year is
What
it?
year is this?
Oh, I love it. Oh, it's so memorable as a story. And then Louise Jameson has to wear this weird outfit again.
Yeah, yeah. Oh my goodness.
And then
And
Romana kind of is there and disappears. I don't know what happened to
right.
Romana in that story.
And there's so many monsters too. And a Time Lord too. There's a Time Lord in that group of monsters.
I feel like we just went into a BBC store closet room and said, all right, what monster groups we got? Let's bring them in. There's not even a Dalek. Not a Dalek in that set. No
Oh,
set.
that's right.
One, one Dalek. So personally, you've got Fifi,
Yes.
effing Fifi. You've got the
Yes.
creatures from the Leisure Hive who weren't even villains. They were just a race of people. So I don't know what
Right.
Doctor did to annoy them, but the kid did something.
Oh my goodness.
You've got a bunch of random villains, and oh my, I don't even know anymore. I don't
It's
know.
so great.
Firstly, it raised money, guys. It was
It
fun.
raised
It was,
money.
but it had John Pertwee in it again.
Yeah.
Tom Baker looked like he was there for the cash check, but he was kind
Yeah.
of still trying to put performance in. And I like him, I like Varani.
We
Varani,
have to the Ronnie was good. The what we have to talk about the floating Hartnell and Troughton heads.
oh no, that is you
What was
can't
it?
do.
Like gherkins pickled in a jar? Like what?
I don't understand that. I like the sculpts, but do you know in the not Doctor you're 1990 something. There's a prequel to Dimensions in Time.
I did not know this.
I've got the issue, but it's in the UK. I've got so I can't even read it. But basically, there's if you get this annual, it's 1996, I think. There is a prequel to it, so you can have more Dimensions in Time.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
Who
that's what it is,
doesn't
guys.
need more dimensions in time?
So overall, Dimensions in Time, it's not. I like. It's a good pleasure, but I'm not going to say it's good. I
Right.
understand why nobody will like it.
Guilty pleasure.
Right, moving on. Time Crash. Quick.
Time crash.
So I watched Ed, so obviously because I watched Rose at first came on. So I watched a lot of this. So I wasn't necessarily much big with classic at the time, but
Hmm.
now rewatching it, seeing Peter Davison with the 10th Doctor, now you know their relationship.
Mm. Which they weren't,
But
father-in-law and son-in-law at the time, but I don't think. Yeah, but he was his favorite doctor, and it's so heartwarming. It's like wonderfully respectful to him and his era, and now of course we're gonna have them in Out of Time as well, so that's gonna be
yeah,
a lovely thing. I wonder if they'll reference Time Crash. They
hopefully.
must. They must.
I tell you what, I love the Linda reference. You're a fan.
Oh yeah,
Linda.
you're a fan. That was great.
oh my
That
god,
was
I didn't.
great because David Tennant was.
I love it. And it says, "You are my doctor," and that's just David Tennant coming out. It's heartfelt. I think the plot
Mm,
itself was like something destroying Belgium, and we were like, "Oh,
yeah.
that's not as big as I thought it was." Not really.
Yeah, that was so funny.
I think I really enjoyed it. I love performances. I think it's a great seeing Peter back again. So,
Yeah.
what I'm not saying the future children need stuff we had got was bad. Me and for Jodie's, we had the little girl. That
Hmm.
was sweet. The little girl seeing her hero, that's sweet.
Oh my
But
gosh,
this was a new Doctor Who story with a classic Doctor returning, and it was just made out of pure love and fandom, and you could really see
so
the love
great,
made. I love it. It's really as something a little
wonderful.
nice watch. It's great.
It's a brilliant bonus feature.
So here's the big 50th anniversary, and then we move into some of your stories. Day of the Doctor.
Day of the Doctor. That's it's a really cool, wonderful story. Um, Obviously, John Hurt is amazing as the War Doctor,
Yeah,
and David Tennant and Matt Smith. The way they get along is probably the best on-screen Doctor chemistry since, Pertwee and Troughton in the Three Doctors. I love the way that they sort of, they squabble and they get in sync with each other, and when they both have their feet up on the table, it's just like
who
wonderful. As a as a new series, say they had released this on the 10th anniversary of the new series, I think it's a wonderful celebration. As a 50th anniversary story, I was very disappointed that there
Yeah,
weren't classic Doctors in it. That's my main gripe with it. It's a wonderful story, but it's just not as
it's
a
a celebration
50th
of a new series.
anniversary. Right. And it's not that I mind that. It's just that we had this precedent of all the Doctors coming back, and I worry that there's just this sort of, I don't know, this idea that if you get slightly older or gain a little weight, that you can't ever come back to Doctor Who, and you just have to do Big Finish for the rest of your life. And I think
Look at
that's
McCoy. McCoy for
terrible.
season 24. He still rocks the out.
McCoy,
He
McGann hasn't aged a day. Like, it
they
just
should have
made no
returned.
sense.
So,
And they like even the trailer. Do you remember that trailer with all the Doctors? It was
oh yeah, that
beautiful.
was a fantastic trailer.
That
I
made
love
us
that.
so excited. We all thought there was going to be all 11 Doctors, or sans the first three, and it just wasn't. And that was so sad. We
So
had the five-ish Doctors, and that was it.
have you watched it? Because we got a 50th anniversary steelbook. So we watched the entire Doctor. So name of a Doctor, night of a Doctor, day of a Doctor,
Doctor,
night of a Doctor. No,
time of Doctor,
time of Doctor. So we
time.
watched all
Yeah,
that. And building on, I agree. It was a great celebration for a new series. I liked the actual reference, but when you get Stephen Moffat all over again, it was beautifully shot, and you can see why I was in cinema.
hmm
But if you'd had a bit of a nice Doctor in it, a classic Doctor, a bit more of that going in, it's great. Although the last scene where they were
yes.
all no sir, all 13, that was an amazing moment.
That was an incredible standout moment,
I
with
remember
the
watching that.
Doctor. Never have we had the next Doctor appear in an episode that wasn't their regeneration, and it just felt like this cool little thing because that was the one thing you never got in a
Yeah.
regenerate in a multi-Doctor story. The question is, well, if all these Doctors exist, why didn't we just bring them all together? And it's like, no, this we actually got to have a future Doctor in this special, so that makes it so unique.
So I don't know if you noticed this. Capaldi's first shot was his eyes, and his last shot was his eyes.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So you see the first shot,
I
David Doctor, his eyebrows, and then you
eyebrows.
watch Times from Time, and you see him turn to Jodie's eyes. Yeah, I don't know.
I did not notice that. That's
But
amazing.
watching that as a kid, first aired, that excitement was there.
Oh
One
yes.
thing I wish, and I love John Hurt's War Doctor. He was great, but if I was ever going to rewrite it, Paul McGann would have been Ron instead.
Yeah, oh absolutely. And obviously, it's a shame because we knew that it was written originally for Christopher Eccleston and there had to be a lot of rewrites. But and obviously John Hurt's an amazing actor, but the whole story didn't, like, it lacked that feeling of a full celebration of all of Doctor Who.
Yeah.
Um, but like you were saying, watching it the day of, I think we all remember where we were on the 50th and how exciting it was and how incredibly filmed and the scale was
The
massive.
the 50th was such a big era time for modern stories of celebration of
Oh,
Who. It was such a big Doctor Who was. I'm not saying we're not proud to be a Doctor fan. I'm always proud to be a Doctor Who fan. But
right.
if you to be a Doctor Who fan in 2013 was massive because it
Oh,
was.
people like normally you're just going around, you're the local Doctor Who nerd and whatever, but people were coming up to me who had never seen the show saying, "Oh, I saw this in the news or I saw this at this display at this place or in the store at the library or whatever." And it's like everybody knew that Doctor Who was having its 50th anniversary, and it just sort of just became this cool thing that everybody was aware of. And this is in
Yeah,
America, not even like, it's much more prolific
it
in
shows how
the
worldwide it is since
UK.
Series 6. Exactly.
Yeah.
I think so if we're gonna sum up David Doctor, great story for a new series, a lot of great moments, some really nice
hmm
past moments, but should have embraced the past more.
Yes. Yep.
The past should have been embraced. I'm not saying give us fan service after fan service after fan service. And Tom Baker's appearance was amazing. Come on, the curator was great, and
Yeah.
it gives us lots of questions. But give us more classic over time. That's all.
Exactly. Exactly.
So we're going to move into the last multi-doctor story for the new series and televised run anyway.
hmm
This is Twice Upon a Time. So it's Capaldi's Swan Song Regeneration story.
hmm
And obviously, this first starts during World Enough and Time. So
Mm,
Capaldi is on a snowy planet. It ends, and the episode ends. Continues for a bit.
right.
What do you think? Twice Upon a Time is it?
So, Twice About a Time. Things I liked was obviously the discovery that that snowy planet was indeed the 10th planet, and the idea of having a
I
multi-doctor story where they're both regenerating at the same time and sort of facing the end of their life. I thought was a cool concept. Um, I I think that yeah, the story itself had some like really the emotional aspect of the I love that the historical setting of that one Christmas day where they laid down their arms. That was really sweet. Emotionally it really got me, but obviously I think most people's gripes with the episode would be the characterization of the first Doctor, and I think
so
it I think people can be a little bit hard on the characterization of the first Doctor, but
yeah.
I think that it's still pretty well grounded. Like, yeah. So I don't what are your thoughts on it?
Personally, I really enjoy it. It's definitely an enjoyable episode, and obviously, you're watching it. I remember doing a theory. It was, when the first Doctor was generated. So when I was correct, I was like, wow, that's a good guess.
That's great.
Personally, one of the best things the episode did was bring David Buddy's first Doctor in. So his first Doctor has done so much a big finish. He's made his own
Mm,
new stories for the Doctor, which some have come out next month, which is really good.
mm.
But I think the characterization, it's a bit of an insult to William Hartnell. He was never sexist. He was an alien in the 60s. It was never a 60s man. That was the issue.
Yeah, I think absolutely. This Doctor was way more sexist than what we saw on screen, but you do have to acknowledge that the first Doctor did have lines that were somewhat sexist back in the 60s, but what there was an understanding that okay, it was the writers who were being sexist, and they shouldn't, it was them coming through the role of the Doctor. And if it was the what I would always how I would always defend it is that if the first Doctor was written today, it would be he wouldn't have any of those sexist lines. So the problem with going
It was,
back and sort of amplifying that, I don't think was the best
it
move.
was a product of its time.
Certainly. Right. And because you did have moments where he was like, oh, uh, you know, eh, go do some spring cleaning. The women will go do some spring cleaning in the TARDIS, and we'll go out and explore. The men will go out and explore. And
Let's
so,
just be
like
honest.
there are those moments, but it's where it's something that again the Doctor grows out of, is supposed to grow out of, and I think that we can
Yeah.
do better now. We know better now, so let's go back and
In a
take
sense,
those
I
things
kind of see
out.
it as the first, in my personal view, the first Doctor was a kind old man in that sense. He was magical. He was a bit grouchy and he was very touchy, but he had a good heart. And then when he let
Right.
people in, he had a character development,
He
and that
had a really
was
sweet side,
he
and I
did.
think the his first episodes, if you only see those, you think, oh, he's a bit grumpy, he's a bit rude. He tried to kill a caveman. He purposely lost the mercury thing, or pretended to not have the
But
mercury thing, so
that's
he could like
that's his
go
character
explore.
development he goes through, and then you go to the
But
10th
then,
planet.
right, Marco Polo, the keys of Mart, he does absolutely mellow out, especially in the season 2, and yeah,
It's
it
great.
wasn't a fair representation of the first Doctor.
I think
He does have some very comedic moments with Capaldi,
yeah.
and that's something to be grateful for.
I think Capaldi was excellent in that story, and the whole idea of Bill coming back, but then it leaves, before we do move on from the story, one big plot hole. Was Nardole dead?
He must have been.
But it never answered it. It just brought him back,
Ah,
and then Clara came back, obviously. That's the only time Clara came back and I was actually slightly happy.
yeah.
And that's the only time she came back. And his regeneration, it's beautiful. His regeneration,
Beautiful.
it's one of the best regenerations. I love it to bits. I think Twice Upon a Time, enjoyable, has its flaws, But you know what? I really, really, really enjoy this.
This is true.
So here's where we get to really interesting
Oh,
multimedia stories. So we're going to go, a bit in Big Finch's past, Signs of Time. So
oh
Doctor
boy.
Who had a hiatus. It was still off air, and they made a multi-Doctor story to introduce the main range with the sixth, fifth, and seventh Doctor.
Right.
Have you reheard the story over time? What do you think?
So it was actually the first Big Finish story, one of the first Big Finish stories I listened to. It was either that or Storm Warning. And originally, when I listened to it, I didn't really like it. But since then, I've listened to it, and I enjoy it a lot more. I think the better stories to get introduced to Big Finish are some of the stories right after, with like Phantasmagoria and
Yeah,
Whispers of Terror. But as a story, it's almost it's basically the closest equivalent we have to the Three Doctors, but with the '80s Doctors, and
it's
that's a lot of fun.
it's a fun story, I'll admit. So the first three parts are basically each Doctor finding where they are, Matarb lock them out. And I love the
Right.
threat, but it's just not the best story I find as it gets later on in. Part four kind of crumbles.
Yeah, yeah. I remember, listening to, and I really wanted to enjoy it. I definitely came to it with an open mind, but
Yeah,
it was frustrating. One thing that bugs me with these multi-doctor stories in Big Finish, I get why you split up the doctors, but I just really want somebody to write an episode where all of the doctors are together from the start, like the Three Doctors,
yeah.
where it's not like you wait until part four for everybody to unite. It's just
So
they're all there, and then maybe they can split up. They can get separated, like the Five Doctors, but then they come back together. And I think that it can be done in a way without having to
there's a
absolutely split it
story.
up.
I am going to talk about this in this segment. It's fairly soonish, but it does do that, which I think you might like. I think
Mm,
personally, as a start out Big Finish, it was really good. Very obviously, because you could tell the actors were getting used to audio, but you know what?
right.
This kicked off a whole main range of great stories. So we get Project Lazarus now. Oh, this is
Yeah.
kicking a whole lot off now. So I personally would not recommend this story as a beginner. How no?
Mm,
This
yeah.
story is a part of an arc that has tons of sixth Doctor stories, more Seventh Doctor stories. This is a part of at least over years. This is years and years of building up to a story. This story is. What do you think?
Yeah. It's absolutely one of those ones. It's hard to jump into. You need to listen to. Let's see. There's Project Twilight, and then there's Project Lazarus. So
Oh, it's more.
that oh yeah, but those are like the
Oh
two
yeah,
project ones, and in between, you like I think the best way to listen to the main range would be to
order.
just do it in order, um, or at least by doctor in that order. But because this is sixth and seventh, you really should just listen to things in order. Um, it's it's good, but it's yeah
I think what okay, so if no one's heard his story, so what it is, it's part of the Forge story arc. Now this it starts out with Marilyn conspiracy that introduces Evelyn, when you get to know her. And this introduces you to a character called Cassie. No spoilers, Cassie's a big character in the main arc that
yeah
leads into McCoy's era. No spoilers. And then the Forge clone the Sixth Doctor from the first two parts, and McCoy comes along. So it's a clone of the Sixth Doctor, but you've still got the Talifree moments. So is it the Doctor? And then that's why it's part of the big story arc. And I remember listening to this, thinking, "Oh, Sixth and Seventh Doctor, this sounds great. Oh, I'm excited."
hmm
And then I'm thinking, "What? I'm confused."
oh yeah, very easy to get lost in it. You need a proper like a flow chart.
Oh, you do need a flowchart for this story. Honestly, guys, get into Big Finish. Listen to Hex story arcs for sixth and seventh, and it's got a great path. It's like 10 years of story is paying off.
Mm,
It literally is. All right, Zagreus. I've heard half. I can't really comment as much, but it's a massive whack job of a story. It's
yeah.
creative. It's basically if what's his name? Who did Alice in Wonderland? If he written this a Doctor Who story,
Oh,
this is
Lewis
what he'd do.
Carroll. Yeah, yeah. Catchy rhymes, but yeah, Just
Small Doctor, Small Charlie, a bottle, literally references galore. It's I'm not going to touch on this much if you get much to say.
no, all I know is it's a wild ride.
So Four Doctors and Perry and Pictons, I've not heard these properly in a bit, so I'm going to miss them if that's all right with you.
Yep.
Destiny of the Doctors. Now we mentioned this at the start. It was part of the 50th anniversary run. You had Day of the Doctor, Light at the End, Destiny of the Doctors, and Prisoners of Time. Four more stories, isn't it?
Crazy, crazy. It's an enjoyable listen through. What's fun, I think, about this is you get to hear like almost 11 different actors do impressions of the 11th Doctor because he pops in at the end of each of the
Yeah,
stories, and then obviously in the final episode, that's a culmination of everything. Um, I as I really enjoyed the second Doctor story from
Shadow of Death.
this Shadow. I enjoyed um, the Seventh Doctor one. Made me cry. It was very
Seventh
emotional.
Doctor one was fantastic. I love this.
Fantastic one.
I remember
Eighth Doctor.
calling Shockwave. Yeah,
Yeah. Oh, Shockwave was
and then
wonderful.
I know the Ninth Doctor one I really enjoyed as well.
That was good too. That again. Yeah, I think the Seventh Doctor one made me emotional. I think the Ninth Doctor one made me cry. That was really, really good. It's one that I've showed to my family, and I mean they're all Doctor Who fans, but obviously if you to convince somebody like listen for an hour in the car to an audiobook, it's a different matter. So I showed that one, I think, to my dad and my sister, and they really enjoyed it as well. And
Yeah.
Nicholas Briggs does, I think, a fantastic Ninth Doctor one. Like, I'm so glad we have Chris
So
Eccleston back, but I've always enjoyed his Ninth Doctor.
Nicholas Briggs, the Ninth Doctor. I don't know if you heard his companion his chronicles, Ninth Doctor Chronicles. It
I
is such
haven't.
an off impression. No, I enjoyed that impression, but something was wrong in that set. His impression was
Oh,
so off, and his
really?
nose was I don't know.
Ah,
That's the Ninth Doctor, but I think as Destiny of the Doctors goes itself, it's a collection of stories. The
mm-hmm.
Ninth Doctor makes appearance for the reason. If you're going to go for certain ones, I think Second Doctor, Seventh Doctor. I
Yep.
need to re-listen to the 11th Doctor one. I've not heard that one in a while, but I know I
Ninth
enjoyed
Doctor,
it.
11th Doctor ones, yeah, that was good. And I didn't recall being disappointed by the wrap up.
So I think for an audio medium, it does a really good multi story, connecting these things up. I think
Oh, yes.
Celebration again, it's what it is. I think if you've not heard it, it's really cheap, surprisingly enough. Just give it a
Oh,
listen.
yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so we're gonna move on. So we're gonna get reviews. We got a few more. So Light at the End.
Light at the
I
end.
have heard this one quite a bit. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's one of the ones I do tend to go back to because I know Adam Fishwick. Because I remember before we got to Big Finish, he showed me this story, and I don't think this is a story to show someone who's getting to Big Finish.
No, no, it's a good one, but it's not your beginner story. It's not like Sirens of Time, where it's like that. Start with the main range right here. Um, I definitely think other stories are better to get into Big Finish. Storm Warning being one of them, but I remember enjoying this, listening to this.
It's
It's kind of uh, yeah, you kind of feel like you dropped in the middle of this of each of the stories. The plot, I think I needed to listen to it twice to fully get it, but
it's a very so it starts out with a certain button on console and it's send them to 1960, so quarter past five,
right.
so 1963 November
Yes.
3rd, and
Yes.
it's also got a subline of a family where the master killed his kids and this guy's going crazy, which is the fifth Doctor segment, and it's basically the first part, the
Right.
fourth and eighth Doctor, which I love their chemistry. It's great chemistry.
Yes. Love
But
them.
it's a weapons factory, but the story is really convoluted. So much going on in this one story that
Right.
doesn't know where to concentrate, and then some things are left unpolished, and then some things are being concentrated on more than they should. But and then I feel like this again, the second, first Doctor, you got the companions and the impressions coming through, but you haven't got as much as you want. It's a
Right.
great story. I love the Master as a villain in this, and then his
Yeah.
intentions. I think Colin really shines in the second part.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a fun. It's a fun story, and it's great that Big Finish obviously did something with the classic Doctors during 2013. So I think that's a fun
Yeah,
part of it. But it could have done with a little bit of polishing, as you say.
yeah, that exactly. I think apart from that, I think bit messy. I liked the ending. I think the theme song is really good. It's like a nice
Oh, the theme
theme song.
song is the best.
I love that theme song.
So
I,
good.
it's like the Eighth Doctor's mefch trilogy. That's such a great theme. So obviously we got Cold Fusion. I've not heard it in a while, so I'm going to miss Cold Fusion. But it's a fifth and seventh Doctor
Mhm,
story.
mhm.
You've got River Song, Diary River Song. That's part of the whole story start of that season with McCoy and Colin. So
Right.
again, miss that 'cause I've not heard that set. Um,
Same.
Legacy of Time. Have you heard it?
Mm. Yes. It,
It's
actually, I think I've only listened to the first part, to my
the,
shame. I have it. I need to finish it.
oh my god! So this
Exposed.
story is so like it's a bunch of singular stories, an hour-long stories, and it's a tribute, a love letter to Big Finish, to their eras. You've got the Simons returning, you've got the Rocket Men returning, you've got a bunch of these villains. You've got the countermeasures team back for the spin-off
Right.
as well as Remembrance and the stories they've been in. It's like the assassination game. You've got a bunch of great things going on. And why this works instead of light at the end is because it has a long period to polish things off and really pay off. And then,
Yeah.
no spoilers, Alex, but when you get to the end episode, just listen to the end episode.
I'm excited. I need to go back now.
I'm interested, go to it. It's worth it. I don't know if obviously for viewers, if you guys have seen any of this or heard these stories, and please say what you think. Um, so the last few, Daughter of the Gods, you've not heard it. You mentioned it. An early.
Oh,
Have you
is it
dived?
good?
Have you dived into the early adventures much?
Ye- I've wanted to. I think I've got to listen to the Companion Chronicles sets, but not the early adventures. They always look great.
They're amazing. The
They
early
look
ones
it.
are very much a sign of the times, like they're very written like broadly in the 60s. But I think the impressions are spot on.
Uh-huh.
It's less narration, more full cast drama. For really, you got some great stories. Check that range out. And it's a what if to a Dalek master plan if the first Doctor wasn't there to stop the Premium Core.
Whoa, dang.
Yeah. And it's got the
That sounds
second
cool.
Doctor and Jamie, and you've got Katarina, first Doctor. And yeah, it's really good. Um, it gives love to Katerina. I think I love the story
Yeah.
because Katerina doesn't get love, and she saved the
Oh,
Doctor's life.
yeah. Yeah. It's one of the few scenes we have, you know, on film.
I love her. I think she's so underrated as a companion, but she didn't get a lot of time, and it's a shame.
No, no, she didn't.
So let's move on to one you definitely you know. Out of time.
Out of time.
So the 10th and the fourth Doctor.
Hey!
All right, so this is obviously a really big one. Let's just be honest here.
Yeah.
This was big when it was announced.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
Oh, loved it. Loved it, loved it, loved it. I think the dialogue is so well written, so witty, so brilliant. I mean, they're my two favorite doctors. How was I not going to enjoy this? Like David Tennant, Tom Baker, they're both, whether you like them or not, they've earned their spots in the Doctor Who Hall of Fame, and they're both two brilliant actors. And to have the Daleks there, that's also like very, very fun. And yeah, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it.
I think personally, it's a great. It was a great first story to get something to Big Finish, because
Hmm.
it's got a simple story, no story arc, and then you can watch a story and you can watch it, listen to a story, and you've got a obviously the Supreme Dalek from Jones End, obviously that Dalek's back, and you've got a lot of great chemistry going on with Fourth Doctor. And I think the scene at the end
Yeah,
really sums up where the 10th Doctor is at that moment in time. He's at a dark place, and the Fourth Doctor
yeah,
kind of reminds him of where he should be.
yeah. It's really cool. If anything, I think there's a little bit of the Fourth Doctor bashing the 10th Doctor a little bit too much. I'm like, would he be that that mean to him? I don't
You
know.
would. Come on, the doctors don't like each other, do
They
they?
they don't like each other, but I felt like it was a little bit one-sided. I think there wasn't as much of the 10th. I think the 10th Doctor was sort of like admiring the fourth Doctor rather than like, quite giving it
I
right
mean,
back to him.
the sixth Doctor literally says, "I'm glad I'm not him," to the fifth Doctor.
Yeah. Oh, what
But
was it in the latest one? There's a great line from the end of the beginning, that I
well, you
loved.
mentioned that. That is the next one we're on. End of the beginning. This
Well,
was
the
released.
my favorite line was one of my favorites was when the fifth Doctor says to the eighth Doctor about the sixth Doctor, he's like a bull in a china shop, and the eighth Doctor's like, "Don't worry, you grow out of it."
Well, become a bull in a toy shop, don't we?
It's
Oh,
great.
that's a great line. Um, End of the beginning, it was released fairly soon, and it was the last main Giorgio, so it was very similar to Sounds of Time, as I mentioned to
Right.
recall. So it was three stories. The first three were a different story for each Doctor, and part four were going to come together. I kind of expected that. I wasn't really surprised, and
Mhm.
in how they did the music and everything, it felt like a very early Big Finish story.
Yeah, yeah, I enjoyed the music. They had that halfway through. I think you listen to it. There's like a 16-minute music track, and very enjoyable. Great to have Churlo and Constance and Charlie. Charlie obviously was there really since the beginning. I think she's
Till
been there
she's
since
aged.
1999. That was the thing that got me was you could tell some of these actors and characters had have been doing this for 20 years. And so that was a bit jarring. But it was I found it really fun. I think the little stories for parts one, two, and three, they went by pretty quickly. Um, the eighth Doctor one I think is my favorite. You've got basically a vampire hunt and a run around, and I really like the eighth Doctor's relationship with that original one with the villain of that story, one of the villains in that
Oh
story.
yeah, oh yeah. Obviously, we're very very close friends. I think that was definitely one of my favorite portions about the entire story.
Yeah,
It
these
was it's really
the
good.
Sixth Doctor has basically a robotic western, which is quite fun, and the Fifth Doctor
Oh
has
yeah,
a sort of a you know desert uh, set story with you know a hunt for a jewel, like missing treasure, sort of Indiana Jones esque.
yeah. I wasn't so big when I first heard that. Maybe I need to re-listen at some point in the future.
It's not. I listened to it a second time this morning, and I enjoyed it. It's a bit repetitive.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, it didn't showcase. I think it represented the Fifth Doctor sort of being. I would have preferred because Big Finish has gone to so many lengths to make these Doctors look really really cool and so much better than they were on TV, and I feel like the Fifth Doctor wasn't as well represented
yeah, he
in
wasn't.
this set,
I agree.
unfortunately.
Yeah,
The Seventh Doctor, I would have loved the Seventh Doctor story.
well, he was stuck in France at the time with no internet, so he couldn't do anything, no recording or anything properly.
Oh, that's why.
Yeah, he couldn't do much, unfortunately.
Ah,
But I
that's
think
so frustrating.
personally, for set, it was a good set to finish it off, but yeah, I just wasn't too pleased. And the story was there, and it went into the time the Doctor's tutor. If you're going to listen to it, guys, give it a listen. It's not terrible, but there's also better parts of the story skill.
Right. It wasn't as great as I was hoping
So
the final story would be.
we're going to do the last few. There's a few comic ones, but overall, I've experienced these. I know you haven't, so we're going to miss some of the comic ones, but
Mhm.
but we'll hit them in another episode. Obviously, if read the comic
Yeah,
yourself, Alex, you need to get into these ones, especially for Doctors.
absolutely.
Um, we're going to end it on the Christmas story I sent you today. So,
Yes.
what do you think to it?
Well, goodness. it's it's like if you wanted to know what like the it, I have a feeling, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but this really feels like what would happen if all of the first eight Doctors got together for sort of a more traditional UK Christmas celebration.
Yeah,
And you had like the Queen's speech, you had some. all sorts of food and stuff, and but the overriding, I like the prose, the way it was, a poem at the same time, and the fun, like crazy interactions. Like you get that many doctors together, they're absolutely going to have a brawl at some point and get on each
I
other's
just,
nerves.
I
But
just love.
I wasn't aware that the doctor was so much of an alcoholic.
Oh my
Like
god! So the
on
fourth Doctor was
TV,
Stella. I kind of Stella.
the only doctor you see drink is the third doctor, and he seems to be into wine and cheese and whatever, and it works because he's like that dapper gentleman sort of fellow. But in this, they're just absolutely downing the drinks, and it's
So
wild.
the main story is the first Doctor invited a bunch of his future selves to dinner, to a Christmas dinner, and it mentions a
Right.
fourth Doctor with a can of Stella.
Yep. Yep.
Can of Stella for a fourth Doctor. And then you got the second Doctor getting a bit drunk, saying, "Oh, you don't get it. Oh, I don't like it." And then,
Yes.
it's just so funny.
The sixth doctor was like the second doctor was like very grumpy in this poem, very grumpy. Oh
And
my
then the fifth
goodness.
Doctor was just there, and
The poor fifth doctor, he was like, he brought, well, I have some here. He brought sparkling water, just seltzer water.
and then there's a fourth
I
Doctor got
felt
a can
calm
of
now.
Stella. I'm gonna
Yep,
get a rock and lager with him, mate. I know.
that was great. I was like,
It's most.
that's
Can ever read it, guys? Read it. It's the weirdest, best multi story I'm ever going to read. I'll say it. We've missed a few, but that's just because you've not experienced it. I want you to
right.
see what you think. So,
I appreciate it.
so a road through memory lane for more Doctor stories. How was it for you?
That was great. I mean, I loved looking back at all of these fun. I mean, that's the thing. Most of the time, you get the doctors together, you're gonna have a fun time, and it's gonna be a novelty, and it's just so special. So I think it's really made us appreciate all of the doctors, and seeing them all together in the same space is always so much fun to
Yeah,
play around with.
absolutely. So what we got is here. Let me just get a generator. So we're going to move on to one of the last things today. This is going to be. We're going to end it on a really big high. The episode generator. And there's a person left
Yay!
to it portion. So I want to see what you like of this. So you see Mr. Adam now. Hopefully, see more episodes in Adam. No offense to Adam if you're watching.
Mhm. I think I have. So
So we're gonna think twist. So the first time you're gonna do is you're gonna have 30 seconds to think of an episode. Obviously, I'm gonna get a generator. You gotta say an episode, 30 seconds, sum it up.
okay.
Best you can. You ready?
Yep.
Death to a Daleks.
Death to the Daleks. What would happen
Wait,
if the
actually,
Dalek
wait there. I forgot
start
to
the
put the
timer?
clock on. I forgot to put the
All
clock
right.
on.
Gives me more time to think.
That's it. We're changing my list. And
All
you can't do that, I'm afraid. You have. Okay, you ready? Force
Yep.
Doomsday.
Four to Doomsday. The Fifth Doctor ends up on something of a museum, and has to watch basically a bunch of exhibits. And but unbeknownst to him, the curators are frog people, and Adric tries once again to betray them. You never know if Adric is on their side, and he's always just ready to betray them. And it also, like, there's
Three, two.
the end of the universe.
You hit some plot points. I'll give you that. Oh yeah, Adam's just commented her name. It's how I hope Alex has seen some of the episodes. Four to Doomsday, like Adric literally says, I think they've got a point. To be honest, they've got a good point to why they're doing this. All right, so
The way the amount of times Adric just like completely swap sides is like, it's us for sure.
and then we're gonna make it more difficult. You got 25 seconds next time.
Hey,
And you're gonna make it
hi,
Twitter.
hello, Pear Crazy 123.
Hey there.
Welcome.
So
So I've got 25 seconds. Okay,
all right, Doctor Who Messiah Lorians, go.
lizard people are waking up from underneath the earth, and the doctor needs to sort this mess out. But the brigadier is trigger happy and orders 5 rounds rapid, and basically explodes all of the Silurians
10,
and
9,
locks them in.
8,
Basically, the
7,
moral of the story is the Silurians are terrible, the great at designing hibernation chambers, terrible at designing alarm clocks. What is up with
1.
that?
All right, I'm gonna do the next one. All right, that was a good one. I like the
Thank you.
5 rapid. I like that one. I'm
Yep.
gonna do okay. So I'll start with 30 and see how I do 30 seconds. I let's see. Android invasion, go. Android invasion is a sleep little town, and then androids are doing a demo just to see if we can take over the town. The fourth doctor drinks a lot of ginger beer or
Yep.
beer or cider, and there's the last appearance of unit. And Nicholas Courtney wasn't free at the time, and you've got a suicidal android that falls off a
Yep.
cliff, and you've got weird aliens that win Big Finish once, and the fourth
Yep.
doctor
Yep. Yep.
does something. I
Sarah Jane's an android.
I don't know
That
how
was
to stop
good.
the Android invasion. It's such a good, weird
That
one.
was that was
All right,
pretty good.
for you,
Pretty good.
now you got 20 seconds.
Castellan, he's in everything that was in there. Oh,
20
20 seconds.
seconds.
Okay.
And then we're going to do a twist after, or 15
All
to be
right.
too short, all right? Batanga's Win Chayang.
Okay.
Go. Wait,
Oh, okay, let's go. Okay.
go.
All right, so the doctor's in Victorian London. He's dressed up for once not with his normal scarf, but like Sherlock Holmes. Leela eats an entire turkey. You got Jago and Lightfoot, who would have a huge spin-off series. But basically, they're hunting down this crazy evil guy with a doll,
4.
and there's a lot of stabbing, and just the plot at the end doesn't make sense to me.
Okay, but you missed
Magnus
racism.
Creel,
You
the
missed a lot of
time cabinet.
racism there.
Oh, so much racism. So much. So much. They couldn't hire any Asian actors. Like, come on.
No, we had Asian actors, we just didn't want to use them, apparently. All
Right,
right,
right.
I'm going to do 25 seconds for myself. All
Yep.
right, I'm intrigued to see what I get. Let me just get another episode generator up. Cool. So let's see what I get.
Oh boy.
Casharalva. Go. So the Doctor's just been generated after a Master, and the Master's taken Adric as his outcastive, which is really good for him because less Adric is better. Going forward, the Doctor's put in a trap where he's walking around the bridge over and over again just to keep fit as he's losing his memory, and he takes part with TARDIS. The Master's doing a really bad disguise again. Obviously, the
Yep.
Doctor would no one know if he wasn't, the generation happy. So done.
And Tegan and Nissa have to drag the Doctor around in a box for the entire first episode.
So here's a twist now. Sum the
Okay.
story up in the worst way possible. That's the next twist.
Worst way possible.
So you've got
Okay.
25 seconds to sum the story up in the worst way possible you can possibly think.
Okay.
So if you were trying to put someone of Doctor Who, think about it that way. I'm not a Doctor Who fan, but you do not want me to watch Doctor Who, and I'm going to give
Okay.
you an episode. You got to tell me why I shouldn't watch it.
All right.
But not. But actually, don't just worst way possible. Sum it up.
All right.
Attack the Cybermen. Go.
Okay, so you've got
20
a
seconds.
race named after crayons, the Crayolas, and they're pretty crazy. And then there's also these like weird robots that give you bloody hands and terrible shoulder massages, and that's pretty much it. That's all the story has to offer.
you're taking literally less than 25 seconds to do that. You're not a fan of Attack of the Cybermen, I'm taking it.
I actually do enjoy it. I respect the design of the aliens and stuff, but man, that it comes to me.
One thing you never think about is about the time lords are part of that story, but you don't think about that because it's never
Right.
part of your thing.
It's weirdly tied into also the 10th planet, I think, and
Because they want to stop the planet from being destroyed.
oh right.
It's also got one of my favorite designs, a black Cyberman, but he's only in one shot in the back, so you don't really see him. All right.
Such a shame.
If you you can set me a challenge if you want. You can set me a
Okay.
challenge.
Okay. You have to describe this next story, but you only have you have to describe it from the point of view of the villain.
Point of view villain. I
Yep.
need to remember the villain. How much time? 25 seconds, 30.
You can have 20 seconds, but
Oh,
you can hit the generator twice if you don't like your first option.
all right, fine. All right, Ambassador Death. I need to.
Okay.
That's not going to happen.
Yep.
I've not seen the Armageddon Factor
Okay.
48. I've got to click it
Go ahead.
first.
Go again. Find
I'm
one
gonna.
that you think you can do.
All right, fine. All right, I'm gonna think of this. Right, Paradise Towers. The caretaker wants the original guy that made it to come back because he's really, really just angry why there's killer cleaners around, and at the same time, he's really angry at the killer old women that's eating a lot of the kangs, literally pushing them through things to get their guts out.
Yep. Feed me.
Oh my god, it's such a. Oh, all right, I got one
That's
for
a
you then.
crazy episode. That really is. I
You
love it.
gotta describe next episode through a point of view of the companion.
Okay. Okay.
You got 25 seconds.
Please tell me it's the one where Nissa sleeps in the cupboard the whole time. Kinda for
You
Nissa.
have the robots of death.
Robots of death. Okay. So the Leela is super confused as to how the TARDIS can be bigger on the inside, but also smaller on the outside, and then has to basically go around throwing knives at robots who apparently you're not supposed to throw knives at anymore, even though most of them are trying to kill you. And you've also got to basically babysit other people on the ship who have robophobia but have been assigned
Go.
personally
Done.
to unravel the robots.
Okay, well, that was a good one. I like that. I like that. All right. Okay, we'll do a few more and then we'll leave
Mhm.
that one. All right, so you can set me the next one.
All right. Describe the next episode in the funniest way possible.
Funniest way possible. How long have we got?
You got 25 seconds.
Cool. That's no worries. All right, I have the chase. Easy. The Chase is one of the most stupidest, silliest Dalek stories. They've got time travel, they don't even use it. You've got a random American guy played by people just thinking it's a Hollywood effect, and there's a whole fucking scene based around it being a Hollywood effect. You've got Hollywood monsters coming to life, making it look like an actual villain, picking up a Dalek and throwing it. That's how much momentum Daleks are in this story.
Nicely done.
That's such an easy story.
That was great.
That was an easy story. All right. You've got to do the point of view of the side characters.
Oh gosh, I need what I remember. Okay.
The Abominable Snowman. Do you remember it?
Give me another one. Give me another one.
Right. This is. All right, no, we're moving on. That's a sense, right? So I'm going to move on. All right, fine. Remembrance for Daleks, 25 seconds, go.
All right. So you've got this principal of a school who's being taking orders from this his mind has been taken over. All he wanted to do was have a nice day at work, but now he's being controlled by somebody else. There's a little girl who was playing hopscotch, and all of a sudden these weird robots come out of the sky, and now she's like their leader, and she doesn't know what's going on. And then there's a whole countermeasures team, and they're just sat in a van.
I mean, kind of. Yeah.
Kind of.
All right. All right. I'm going to. Okay. I'll let you think of another one for me. Go on.
Your challenge is to describe this story as vaguely as possible so that I don't get what it is, but you can't make things up. You have to
I don't
confuse
know.
me as to
All
what
right.
the story is.
Fine. Okay, so I'm basically.
You,
Okay, fine. What
you
if?
have
All right, I got
Yep,
an idea.
yep.
Do you know what's the game where you got to act it out?
Oh, charades.
Charade. Do a charade style story.
Yes, let's do that.
All right, you got to guess the story. No
I
time
gotta
limit.
guess the story.
Go.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
Got to tell me how many words it is. 4 words. Okay. The time of the Ronnie. There are guns. Lots of guns. Ooh. Stop the gunfighters. There's a recorder. Is this a second Doctor one? No. Okay. Are there invisible things? Invisible guns. What? There's a monster. There's the android Zatara. No, there's people on the phone. There's a terror of the Autons. Close. There's a headset. No. People are asleep. Okay.
Can you guess?
Oh gosh.
I just literally did a whole scene for you.
Oh, you fooled me. You stumped me.
Shall I say it?
Yeah, say it.
Terror of the Zygons. Saying this on my phone, and you got that behind it.
Oh yes. Oh, I love Terror of the Zygons too. Oh.
Right, fine. So I don't know how this is going to work. So I'm going to do the next. I'm going to do this. I can't know how it's going. I want you to do the same, but I don't know how it's going to work.
Oh, okay.
Right. No, that's what I thought. I'll do a new challenge. Okay. You've got to. The original one you said to me, you've got to describe it, but not describe it.
Okay. Describe it without describing it.
And I've got to try and guess the story.
Okay. So I can.
Okay, so I'm going to close my eyes and I'm going to
All right.
slow down.
Okay.
Got it?
Yes,
Okay, go.
I do. Uh, everybody's happening at every time, and there are people there who shouldn't be the villains, but they are, and there's more doctors than you can think of, and there's just it doesn't make sense. The plot is horrendously
Tom
terribly
Ronnie.
written. It's got the Ronnie.
Mark Ronnie.
Nope.
Dimensions in Time.
Yes. It's like I
Oh,
can't believe after we talked about this that was the one that popped up.
okay, right. So, 3 more. I'm really enjoying this now. We'll do about another
Yes.
3 more each, and then try and get with them. Obviously, we've got some more people joining. Thanks for joining, guys. I hope you're well. We're currently doing a game. We've got to do a task of describing an episode in a short amount of time, or
With a
silently. Okay. So you got to guess mine. How do you
All
want
right.
to do mine?
Let's do another charades.
Oh no. No, I can't do that one on charades. I'm sorry. That's impossible. I can't do this. All right. Okay. So I'm gonna move the laptop.
Yep.
And it's a bit like.
So is it Frontios? The Green Death. 2 words? Black Orchid. The Rescue. The Romans. The Ark. The Gunfighters.
Wait. Can I talk? Not say what happens, but kind of say what happens.
Yeah.
This is a cliff. Right.
Okay.
This is a cliff.
Yep. Yeah. Somebody falls down a cliff. Somebody gets pushed. Oh, when did somebody fall off a cliff? Is a cliffhanger? Is it literally? Is it dragon fire? Oh, I mean, Android invasion.
um,
Oh,
shall I tell you?
yes.
Centauran experiments. I don't know how to describe Centauran
Oh, this is.
experiments. Like all I thought of was Harry falling down a cliff,
Oh,
and then
yes,
you
of
saw me
course.
working on my balls with a sonic screwdriver here.
Oh, yes, and then the Centauran coming up. Centauran experiment. That's great.
Yeah, I'm not
Great.
good at charades. I don't play charades all reason.
Well, apparently I'm not good at guessing either.
All right, you're okay. Let's think the funny way. You have got to describe it in the most detailed way, as if it was an essay.
Okay.
But
Okay.
you've got 20. But you've got 25 seconds.
All right.
You're at 24. I'm gonna say 24. Take a second.
24. Okay.
You're describe like you're in university and you write an essay and you're gonna pass
Hmm.
this essay.
All right.
Okay, I'm gonna pick a really good one. Revelation of Daleks. 3, 2, 1, go.
Cannibalism. Is it the only way forward? As we approach the inevitable collapse and starvation of our society with more automated means of food production, uh, when the AI intelligences take over, we are going to be without food production. So we're going to have to rely
One.
solely on cannibalism.
I mean, that definitely. Have you ever had to think about Revelation of Daleks that deep before? Or was it the first time?
No, I should have gone the afterlife thing, the whole death aspect, come to think
I
of
mean,
it.
you could
But
do it if we do a new series one next time. We'll do Death in Heaven.
oh, yes.
That'll be an interesting one. All right, pick one for me. Got him.
All right. You have to describe this episode um, entirely using quotes from the episode.
Oh God, I need to know the episode then. All right, fine. Um, okay, let me get an episode I'm actually gonna know.
Yep.
All right, I've got it. How long have we got?
Okay.
How long have we got?
25 seconds, and I need to guess what it is.
Ah, the new vicar, but he randomly disappeared. 5 rounds
Oh,
rapid. Deimos from playing Daemons.
it's the
His
demons.
eyes cold. Did you get the from the start of the episode when the guy's walking his dog and you see
Well, when I heard Vicar, I thought, oh, Curse of Fenric, but then I was like, okay, no, it's the demons. Definitely the demons.
I think Daemons, whatever Deimos kind of ruined that one for you.
Daemons, yeah.
Alright. Describe the episode in 6 words.
6 words.
And
Okay.
I'm not gonna look. I'm gonna generate it and I'm gonna scroll down. Can you see the episode?
No, the phone's off screen. All right. Yep.
Can you see it?
Yep.
I didn't see
I
it. I
got it.
didn't see the screen go. Describe it to
I
me.
got it. Okay. I have 6 words. Daleks and Mavellans
Destiny of Daleks.
in checkmate.
Destiny of Daleks.
Davros.
You use the most obvious words. Like, most obvious words.
That's true. That's fair.
Them words are so obvious. I knew by my villains.
Mavellans narrowed it down.
Literally. All right. I'll give you another go at that. But you got to be
Okay, so I've got to try and
but you
like
can't make it
be
so
more
obvious.
vague. Be more vague. Okay, I got
Vague.
you. I got
Got
you.
6. I'll give you no. That 5 words.
All right, 5 words. 5 words. All right.
Okay. Wait. Got it.
Yep.
Go.
Okay. Burning Um, mutation,
Burning mutation.
house, and let's see. We'll also do ghost.
Ghost light.
Yeah. Ghost
Mutation.
gave it away, but mutation.
No, house and burning. I thought, yeah, that. All right, I got the. All right, next one. I'm gonna do one after you, but
Yep.
it's you got to describe an episode, and I'm gonna make it really difficult.
Okay.
Sell a story to me in 14 seconds. 14 seconds.
Okay.
You've got to persuade me to like Doctor Who. You right.
Lands on the gunfighters.
So you've got Trial of a Time Lord.
Oh,
Go.
the Doctor gets way too full of himself sometimes, and he needs to be knocked out a notch. For once, the villain should win the story, and that's what you get here. I mean, this story was so good it could not be contained in a four-parter. It needed 3 4-parters and a 2-parter, and you will.
Time. You just literally made the hero sound like a dick. You made the hero sound like a complete dick. That's not. I don't want to watch a scene where the hero is a giant douche.
That's fair. That's fair.
All right.
All right, so you need to sell an episode to me in 14 seconds.
14 seconds.
Of course, it's Trial of a Time Lord. Of course, it's Trial of Time Lord.
Tom was easy to. It's not easy. All right. Oh God. All right. I've got Bastard's Death. Fine. The Seven Parted builds up at a slow suspense rate, but with a great set of action, great aliens, and great villains. There's a mystery and great storytelling with this, and who is behind the entire thing? Watch it to find out.
You know it's a hard story to sell when you're like checking the timer on a 14-second
I like
challenge.
Ambassador Death, but selling Ambassador Death is like
It's hard. It's a bit
oh,
hard.
you've got fun. I'll be nice. You got 13 seconds now.
Oh.
You got to sell me a story. You've got Tom and Ronnie. Go on.
Doctor
Three,
Who need
2, 1, go.
Doctor Who needed more rainbows anyway. The Ronnie was such a good villain; they had to bring her back. The Seventh Doctor is like he's got more amnesia than the Eighth Doctor did, and Mel screams a lot.
That you just put me off Doctor Who. More rainbows. Mel screams. Are you
remember
trying to?
that effect? You remember that effect?
Yeah. Are you trying to
I
put me off
forgot I was
Doctor
trying
Who?
to sell it at the end there.
And Mel screams like that's not. That's not.
It's not a selling point for you.
It's not a selling point, mate. All right. Last time. I'll do next one. What's the task?
The task is to describe the episode, but so you need to describe it in a way that I think it's another episode and guess it wrong.
So I'm gonna make you guess wrong.
But you still have to like stick to like describe it in a way that's so generic. Like if you got Storm Warning, you would describe it in a way that makes me think that it's City of Death because they're both the doctors showing their companion a famous city that has a bunch of art in it
Okay.
and
All right.
something like that.
I do no time limit for this one. Can I just
No
describe?
time limit. Yep.
All right.
And you can pick one that works.
The Doctor lands his ship and decides to explore the area and gets into lots of wacky hijinks and historical timepieces.
Okay.
People get taken,
Uh-huh.
and he can't change time, and he almost dies a few times.
Ooh, I'm gonna go for the Aztecs.
It's not the Aztecs.
Ah,
Okay, I'll try. Well, um, There's lots of foreign accents, but we'll try to do foreign accents. And really, it's
The gunfighters?
It's not, we're gunfighters.
Ah,
It's like and some people get locked up, and there's some stock footage, and it's trying to teach you something, you know.
okay.
It's like Doctor Who's gonna
Okay. Is it the Romans?
It's not, but you're close.
Wacky hijinks. I thought I time meddler.
I will tell you, it's Reign of Terror. I told you,
Oh,
lands all the time, foreign accents, locking up with Ian.
that's true. I completely skipped that. I got the other the hard historicals on either side of that.
Literally, you were on Hartnell, but you weren't on the right Hartnell story.
Oh, that's great.
All right,
All
you're
right.
but how you've got to. Hmm. I got.
You know in like where you have to guess the letters in an
Yeah.
episode?
Do you know what? Charades. You got to guess the story to me in charades.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow. All
Tell me
right.
if it's a hard one. If not, I'll change it.
Okay.
Got it?
Okay.
Yeah.
No, change it.
What's up with Space Pirates?
There's only one episode.
Okay, go. Got
All
it?
right. Yep.
All right.
Okay. So it's 3 words.
Yeah. Time.
Yep. And then um
You got to describe the scenes. You got to reenact scenes. Just you.
okay. Okay. Let's see.
Tom and Bronny.
There's a
Lapels. First Doctor.
no, 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 no. Um let's see. Uh it's like there's wing.
Oh, we're Planet. We're Planet.
No, no. Let's see. There's
Come on, last one. You got to make it count.
it's got time in it.
Is that in the
And
title? City
yes,
Death. Oh no. Okay. Is it
it's
time?
got
The Time Monster.
there's a
Time Monster.
yes, time monster.
Oh,
There's a
what was
big
that?
creature. They that
Shouldn't you have done
who's
that? Like
I did the wings. I
Wing
did the wings.
Shots. Awesome. I think well that was really fun anyway. I really enjoyed that to be honest.
Yeah, lots of fun. That's my favorite segment.
That was awesome. I love it. It's like just doing back things. Thank you, Fiona. Obviously, quick one before we end it. Check out obviously the Doctor Who Guide channel.
Thank
Really
you.
great stuff. You're making a video on the merch situation, as we did mention. I really hope you enjoyed this, guys. Please comment obviously below and I'll see what you think. And if you've got any ideas what you want in it, just please go ahead. And I hope you enjoyed. Who knows, a Doctor Who discussion. Thank you for joining.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's not a problem. Obviously, it's great having a lot of Doctor Who fans, and I'm up for getting different people each time. Obviously, and obviously you'll be back again, not last time. Apart from that,
Yes,
guys,
and subscribe to All Things Doctor Who.
awesome. Obviously, I'm trying to make new things, get it all sorted. Have a great day, guys, and thank you for watching.
Bye.